And at this point, are you focusing on any particular zones, or is this a more sort of general?
This is a general relaxation. As I say, unless the client's relaxed, you just can't feel anything. So.
And presumably this is always done with some sort of cream or oil or something.
Cream. And when I'm teaching, my students start with a thinner cream, because you don't want to. This is fine, but you don't. When you're doing the actual reflexology, you don't want to slip. We show if we've got the feet there. Just relax, sorry. So if we think about someone sitting with their legs up, so their knees up, so and their arms down, so they're almost like sitting like a frog. So that's the head. This is the chest area, the ball of the foot. The arch of the foot is the most of the internal organs in the middle, and then you've got the pelvic area here.
Right.
So you've got the legs come up the side to the knee, go back down. The arms come down there to the elbow. So the knee and the elbow are the same reflex points.
Right. Okay.
And then on the side you've got the spine. So if you feel these, if you can see these bones here, these are the spine.
I noticed also you're working on the top of the foot as well.
Yeah.
Are there? Does the map extend round to the top of the foot and there's points there?
Yes. So at the top you've got the drainage, you've got the breast area, which actually thinking about the map should be on this side, but it's not. It's here.
Right.
The thing about the reflexes, a lot of them they're not on the surface, they're inside, which means you can get them from different sides. So if I work the uterus, which is here, I can also work it from here, because the reflex it's in the middle. I tend to work from here because if you're looking at this area of the foot, you've got more hard skin, that you're walking on that skin all the time, whereas here it's nice and easy and you can get in and you can sort of feel the reflex, but actually you could work them from either side. So a lot of the so in a way it doesn't matter which side, it's just which you can
The techniques you're using, I know there's, I think I was reading up on it, there's a caterpillar and hook and back, is it?
This is caterpillar that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And the thing about the caterpillar is it's a press, release, lift, press, release, lift. So although I am sliding, I'm bringing the pressure right off as I'm doing it. I might have to give a shout in a minute. The hook in, pull down is the one I did on there, and I won't do that again because it can be quite painful. So you basically hook in and you pull down over the reflex, because that reflex it's quite deep.
Is that hooking in with a nail or a fingertip or?
Well, if you look, I don't have nails.
Right. Okay.
So it is with the finger.
Right.
So. There's a few other techniques. You can do a hold and rotate, but without my supporting hand, that's not going to be doing anything.
And the different techniques like hold and rotate, caterpillar, do you decide which one to use based on the area you're doing on, or based on the response or impact you want it to have?
Right, it's two things. So the kidneys, the adrenals and the solar plexus, I'm always going to do a hold and rotate on there. If I take the shoulders, I will always start with a caterpillar there. I can do a hold and rotate on there if I get bumps.
Right.
And I can also then go in with my knuckles if I get bumps as well.
Okay.
So it's a mixture of...
So it's more based on the what the foot's like as opposed to...
There's always a technique I start for each different reflex. So I'll always start the shoulders on caterpillar. I'll always start the kidneys on hold and rotate. And if it's bumpy, then I'm looking for a different way to get in.
Okay.
And I'm using my knuckle to go in.
Right.
And work that area. So.
And are you doing anything with your sort of index fingers or your fingers on the top of the foot at the same time, or is it that's mainly just to get purchase?
I am supporting them.
Right.
So if I try to do it without them, nothing happens. But they're not working any specific points.
No, there's no pressure on the top of the foot.
It's a very flat, it's just dispersed pressure.
It's just holding. Yeah.
So does that go the same for the two thumbs on the sole of the foot? You're only working with one of them at a time, or do you ever use both of them?
You do sometimes work with both of them, but because I'm getting information from the foot, if I'm using two thumbs, it's harder for me to work out, as I've got a little brain, which thumb is giving, which thumb is got the bumpiness. And then work the arch of the foot, and the pressure comes off a little bit because it's obviously you're not walking on the arch of your foot, and so it can't take as much pressure. The other thing is you've got a tendon there, so again if I'm pressing on that tendon, then that's going to be really painful. So now I'm going to work the side of the foot. And you've got basically you've got the pelvic area at the back. I'm working the lower spine here. So I'm going up over the hip, the knee elbow points, and I'm moving up to the shoulder. And I can work on, I can use 1, 2 or 3 fingers here. It depends on the foot really.
Right.
I just can use my knuckles on, and is another area, the hip, knee, elbow is another area that I can tend to use knuckles. The connective tissue, it shrinks a little bit actually. And it's very painful, especially first thing in the morning. So they'll get up in the morning and hobble around like 90-year-olds. So reflexology is actually, I've had quite a few clients that it's been effective for that. But I couldn't sort of put an advert out saying, oh, come to me for plantar fasciitis. It is bumpy to reassure the client that it's not, a problem, and they shouldn't go running off to the doctors. It's what is that?
How far up the leg would you tend to go? Where would be the sort of cut off?
To
there. And do these below, sort of between here and here, is there still very sort of worthwhile areas to focus on then?
No, what you've got here, here. Just relax for me again. Here you've got the reproduction helper. So if you work up there, you finish at a dip, which is there, which is actually a spleen point. So that's as far as you go up. What I'm doing now is just massage.
Is there a better sort of time to do? Is after sport a good time to do it, or is when you're sort of relaxed in an evening, or is it not really?
It doesn't matter to me. You need to be able to relax afterwards, ideally.
Right.
You're probably going back to work, but yeah. So ideally, you want to relax afterwards.
And are there any kind of treatments you offer that do the opposite, perhaps sort of energise, or as opposed to kind of relaxing people?
Part of reflexology you can energise as well.
Right. So is that physically as well as psychologically, or?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if I was looking to energise, I'd have different oils in the burn. I've got ones that are good for relaxing at the moment, and I would do some slightly different moves.
Yeah.
And it's just the way you do some of the moves. So if I can just show, which is a bit mean because you're all relaxed, it's things that you can just sort of wake people up. It's like that.
Probably good if I'm going back to work.
Yeah. So it's just how you do some of the other movements. If you do them quicker, you will get a more invigorating treatment. If you do them slower, you're going to be relaxing your client. So,
right. Okay.
And I think that relaxation is really important for the for the reflexology to be effective.
One thing I was wondering as well, in terms of these time you sort of work on someone's foot for, all the different areas, does that vary greatly as well, or is that you wouldn't go over a certain time, or you do it for at least this long?
No, sometimes it varies greatly really.
Right.
If there's a problem area there, or if they've said in the consultation that's an area they have problems, I could work that for a couple of minutes. Some people just do caterpillar. That's
okay. Right.
And some people do it, they come right away between presses. I found that I don't need to get results.
Right.
So I suppose you just change it based on what works for you. So that's the treatment.
It's very different to having a massage. So I go for a massage. I tend to get very deep massage. So I mean, they're not going for pressure points. They're going for deep muscle tissue.
Right. What, in the massage?
Yeah, in the massage. So what I've experienced there is a lot more gentle, although in some respects where you've hit certain points it hurts, but that's not the sort of thing that they're doing when they do a massage. So like going up the leg, completely different. I have a massage, it's seriously painful when I have it done. Because they do go in really deep for the muscles.
And I'm not working those muscles at all. I'm working the reflex that goes actually in between those two muscles.
Yes, so it is a completely different experience to a massage. Certain areas definitely little bumping, knobbly bits you can feel.
Well, when they're being worked.
Yeah, and it's interesting that she's saying the bits that were knobbly were the bits that I've got issues with.
Right.
So there is the connection.